this week, and how ready do you think you guys are to play?
Yeah, I mean, I think preparations have been excellent. I think the practices have been excellent. Our guys, we got down here Christmas night. It was good to get down here early. I had a good practice Monday, 2 really physical practices the last 2 days. We'll have a really good practice today and good preparation here as we head into meetings this morning. But all the focus is just playing, the fastest and most violent game we played all season here, Saturday night, 8 o'clock. And, I just think all the work that we put in this last month has got to now show. And our guys are going to play with confidence because we've had a really good month of prep.
Ryan, you don't like to get into injuries and stuff, but Lyons missed the last couple of days. Anything you can update us on?
No, he's had a stomach bug, and we expect him to be at practice today. So, we'll just kind of take it as we go.
As you look at this Georgia defense, you feel it's strength of their team. Do you see it that way? And how difficult is it going to be to attack these guys? Are they almost daring to do it?
Well, I think they have good players all over the place. They have 5 stars running around all over the field. Certainly in the back end, their corners are excellent. The safeties are really good. Linebackers are really athletic and play downhill and play physical. And the front is very good as well. So we're going to have to be balanced, like we always are. We're going to have to, find ways to, score in the red zone. We're going to have to be creative in all kinds of different areas. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who's more physical, who's winning the game up front, who's going to play harder, who's going to play through the whistle, who's going to play for 4 quarters. And they're a very, very good team, but so are we. And this is going to be, a great game on Saturday night. I think it's going to be, one of the more, I think they said, more people in this game they've ever had in the stadium. So our guys are excited about that. I mean, this is, when you get to this point of the year, this is where you want to be. And all the focus has been on this game for our guys.
You need some help with Jalen Carter. Compare him to somebody you've seen at this level?
A very good player. Disrupts the game. And their entire front is really good, and so is their back end. I mean, they really don't have any weaknesses on defense. They're very, very good, and you can see why they're ranked one of the best in the country. They do a good job, and he's very good as well. So, our guys know what the challenge is, and that's why we've been preparing for it so hard.
Didn't they have 10 or 12 guys drafted off that defense last year? As many?
Yep.
It's kind of ridiculous the amount of talent.
Yeah, a lot of talent, but they're well coached too, and then they play hard. So, and you can see that based on what they've done the last 2 years. And so we know again what the challenge is going to be, and then we're going to have to play really, really hard in the game and execute really well. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to who plays harder and who's going to execute better in the game. Because as you get into games like this, there's a lot of lead up, there's a lot of conversation, but that's what matters the most.
Jack Sawyer said, I think our defense is pissed off. And that's the kind of attitude you want right now?
Well, they should be, and then we all should be. We know, what we need to do in this game to win. And that's kind of the way that this month has been for a lot of us at practice every day. There's been an edge. There's been, friction. There's been conflict. There's been a lot of that going on, and that's a healthy thing. And so, the one good thing about this, we're going to go play. We're not going to sit there and worry about what if or anything like that. Nobody really gives us a chance to win this game anyways. So we're going to let it all out. We're going to play as hard as we possibly can and look up after 4 quarters and see where we're at.
Coach Ryan, Coach Meyer said the other day that there's nothing more dangerous. He loves the team that he's under. Do you buy that philosophy?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, that's for the fans and everything like that. I mean, whatever it is, I know that, we're going to play fast in this game. We got to play violent in this game. We got to execute at a high level, and that's what it's going to come down to. But, what we're not going to do is play it close to the vest. We're going to go. And our guys got to play that way and have that mentality when they walk in that stadium. Because, we know what the stadium's going to be like. We know the electricity. We know that, it's going to be heavy. The fans will be, heavily in Georgia's favor. It's going to be a loud environment, all those types of things. So it's going to be like being on the road. Certainly, we appreciate all the Buckeyes who are going to be at the game and having that presence there, but it's going to be that type of feel, and our guys know that. So we've talked about it and we've prepared for that.
Fast track, weather's not going to be an issue.
No, that's one less thing we have to worry about.
Let it sail?
Well, no, it's the same thing all year. You have to have balance. You have to be able to win the line of scrimmage. The team wins the line of scrimmage, typically wins the game. That goes back a long time. So we have to do that again in this game, and they're very good at it on both sides of the ball. So our defensive line has got to do a great job. Our offensive line's got to do a great job, and it's going to come down to one-on-one matchups in the end. Their inside guy against our guards, their tackles against our defensive ends, our linebackers against their tight ends. Those types of things.
Talk about not playing an indoor football game in their career. Obviously, they practice what he said.
Right.
Indoors a lot. Does that matter? Would it look like a different team at all indoors?
I don't think so. I hadn't really thought of the fact that they hadn't played an indoor game before, but we practice in it all the time, and I don't know. I mean, I think that we're comfortable in that. We practiced in it last month, and we've been over there the last week, so still the same field, still the same dimensions, everything's about the same, so I don't think it'll play much of a factor at all.
And when you have a game like this where it is 4-star, 5-star against each other, the talent gap's not there. What has Georgia done so well? They've been able to rattle off this many wins. What becomes the difference when you have two teams in your game?
Well, it comes down to the little things and comes down to one or two plays typically that can change the game. When you look at the game they played against LSU, they're kicking a field goal, they block it, return for a touchdown. That's a 10-point swing in a game. Things like that in a matchup game can be the difference. It can come down to one play, come down to two plays. So you never know when those things are going to be, but when you're in matchup games, you just got to keep playing. You got to keep swinging, and you have to have the mentality that you're going to just go out there and swing as hard as you can for 60 minutes, and then you'll come up for air at the end. But the team who prepares harder and continues to work towards 8 o'clock is going to win, and that's the mentality we've had all month as we prepared. Is who's practicing harder, who's preparing better, who's doing a better job in meetings, and then once we get on that field, who's going to play harder, and that's what it is.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have made a lot about LSU for a lot of yards on Georgia. When you're down 3 scores, the game script is such that you're going to throw the ball out.
Right.
Is there anything in that game? I mean, how do you attack a defense that's this good?
Well, I think it got a little sideways in that game, so they kind of played one way, and you never want to be in that world. You want to have that balance all the time. You don't want to be playing one way, and certainly we haven't done that all year. We won't do it this week. We'll just continue to find that balance and keep attacking teams or keep attacking the defense and try to put them as much stress as possible. That's what it comes down to. You start to have tendencies one way or another, you set yourself up. So we want to have a clean game plan where the guys can go play as hard and as fast as possible and not think a whole bunch.
Right, you said Dallin Hayden would have a role. I guess maybe everybody in that room would have a role. But coming off the 2 games he had, do you see him playing more than he did against Michigan?
Yeah, I do.
Didn't he establish some confidence?
I think so, and he's had a great month of preparation. So, we're going to need him to win this game.
Is he ahead in the pecking order, or how does that, the 3 of them go?
Again, we don't really have a pecking order. I think one of the things that we've had to do all year is nothing new. Is we've had to adjust as the season has gone on, because there's that's just kind of the way that it's gone this year in that room. Is we've had some guys in and out, so we've had to put some guys into the spots, and the good news is we've been able to adjust and we've responded in that area. So that's nothing new. It's the good news is we should have everybody available for the game. So.
You guys are so used to having 1 week to turn around and get ready for a team. Having so long prepared for just one game, are you tempted to put stuff in that you guys have never put on tape before? And how do you balance that with just doing what you do? Yeah, it's similar to a first game of the season. You can overthink things, but you do have a lot of preparation time to get ready. And there's certain different things you can do, wrinkles, new things, but and then that's all real. But you want to make sure it comes down to fundamentals in the end, who plays harder, and that's it. Kind of on the flip side, what kind of adjustments do you anticipate having to make in game because of stuff maybe they've put in that you've never seen?
Yeah, they do a great job of being multiple on both sides of the ball, and they they have a bunch of ways to attack you, and they're going to have, wrinkles and things that are new. So we'll have to do a great job of identifying what those things are and then adjusting from there in the game.
But you haven't had a game, one score game all season. This one might come down to one
Yeah.
score game. How did you kind of prepare the guys to keep their composure when that
Right.
situation might arise?
I think it's a great question. I think that's one of the things that we've got to do a great job of in this game. And I talked to the team last year, about the Rose Bowl and how that was a back and forth type of game, and some of the games that we've been in that have come down to that. The Penn State game for us this year, it was close in the fourth quarter. We were down. We had to come back and win. So, if we go up, if we go down, if it's close early on, we got to keep playing for 4 quarters, and that's what the CFP games are typically. It's like, I think about. And I just kind of shared with them some of the history of this game and what it's been like. And we've talked about, what the first Clemson game was like, the second Clemson game, in different games along the way, some of the games that Ohio State has played in the past. But this is about them. This is going to be their story. They have an opportunity to write a story here that, could be very special. And I think our guys recognize that.
Coach, when you look at Georgia defensively, what is maybe one thing specifically that they present problems or consistently presents problems?
Where do I start? First off, it's the talent. They have a tremendous amount of talent. In the back end, they can fly around and they have great cover skills and create a lot of problems. And then it goes right to the linebackers and the guys up front. Schematically, they're very, very well coached. Do an unbelievable job of getting them to play hard. So. They have a history of knowing how you're trying to attack them, and they can make adjustments in game, and certainly try to recognize what you're doing and how you're lining up and things like that. So very, very good talent and very, very well coached.
Ryan, trying to compartmentalize the Michigan loss and get ready still for such a big opportunity. Is that something that's been possible?
I think that's coaching and that's life. There's going to be things that come along the way that you have to bounce back from, and that's something that I think all of our guys have really embraced the last couple of weeks. And there's certainly been a lot of noise, but our guys have done a great job of focusing on what really matters. We got a chance to go win a national championship here and play Georgia, in Atlanta, and that's been the focus of our team. Well, he's resilient. I think people can recognize how resilient he is as a young man, but I don't think anyone can prepare you for being on this type of stage and everything that comes with it. And I just give him an unbelievable amount of credit for the way that he goes about his business every day and the way that he's handled himself as a person. I forget if he's 20 or 21 years old, but for him to handle himself the way that he has, I got a lot of admiration for that and a lot of respect for that. There's a lot of people that I know that wouldn't be able to do that. And he's growing every day. He's building every day. This team loves him. I love him. And I can't wait to see him compete on Saturday night.
Brandon, as Marvin, he said that one of the things that he's excited about with this match is the fact that going against corners in the secondary that maybe matches you guys athletically, physically.
Yep.
What aspect of that match would you like to see? Is that something that you also see as one that is the secondary job? Kind of match with guys?
Yeah, they're very good. They have a really good talent, and again, they're coached really, really well. So this is a matchup game, and whether it's the front, the linebackers, the tight ends, or like you said, the receivers and DBs, you're going against your clone. You're going against a guy who's as talented as you are. So you have to embrace that role. You have to embrace the fact that you're going against really good players and go do it. And how do you do that? You have to figure out how you're going to win that matchup. It isn't just going to be with talent.
Kirby talked about getting into this game after like in the last 60 days. Did that add extra juice for you guys, or are you guys kind of maybe had so
I don't know. Everyone has their own journey to get here. The bottom line is we're here, and we got to go play in the game. And however, each team gets here, that's their own story. But there's 4 teams left, and everyone's got a chance to win it. And I guess I can tell you that the last month of preparation has been excellent, though.
Coach, how's your week been here?
Yeah, it's been a really good week. We got in here Christmas night, and everybody in the Peach Bowl has been wonderful, and the city of Atlanta has been great, and been very well taken care of. Great accommodations, and I think our guys have appreciated everything that the Peach Bowl folks have done here for us.
It's about the building. You guys going to get to playing indoors, and you approach it differently than what you guys have done.
We've tried to treat it like the Woody Hayes Athletic Center the best we could. We've kind of said, okay, that's where we come out of the Woody. Everyone's in their own spots, and we tried to make it ours. But also talk to them about visualizing themselves playing, in a capacity crowd on Saturday night, what that's like. So then when you run out, it's not the first time. You've already done it. You've played it. You feel that. You felt what it's like to be, on 3rd and 3. You feel like what it's like to be in the red zone. Coming out the first kickoff of the game. All those types of things. You've already played that. And that's a part of coaching, or really, preparing a team is like, hey, you can do this, but it's got to be through your imagination, because the first time you do it can't be on Saturday night. You got to already do it. And being in the stadium for a whole week is, I think, allowed us to do that a little bit.
How do you compare and contrast the quarterback duo we're going to get to see Saturday night?
The quarterback what?
Quarterback duo we're going to get.
Yeah, 2 really good players, both Heisman Trophy finalists. A lot of respect for Stetson and what he's done, and certainly he's a winner and he's a competitor and very, very talented. Makes some unbelievable throws. Tough running the football. I mean, he can do it all. Great player. And then obviously, we know about CJ and all his ability and what he's done, and he's had an unbelievable week of practice. And again, I said it before, I know he's really excited about playing in this game.
Coach, how excited are y'all to play indoors?
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing in bowl games or this time of year, typically this is the setting, and we've had a good week of work in the stadium. This is my first time in the stadium, I believe, actually, because I was going back to when we played in Monday night game back a few years ago when I was in the NFL, and I actually wasn't at the stadium. So this is our first time kind of being there and feeling it. And I think it was good to at least get a feel for what it was like and try to visualize ourselves playing in the game, because it's going to be an electric atmosphere.
Coach, what's it like to once again control your own destiny and this point where you needed USC to
Right.
lose, and now you're in it. Now you have you're the only people who can control whether you make the national championship or not. What's it like to have that power?
Well, that kind of was something that happened there, the beginning of December, where we weren't sure how it was going to shake, and then some things broke our way, and now all of a sudden you had second opportunity to go win this thing, and kind of gave a lot of energy and excitement and juice around the facility, and then it just kind of translated to some really excellent practices and preparation. So, now we're kind of into the game preparation. That's kind of all that stuff's kind of behind us now, and it's all about Georgia.
Of course, Georgia is the focus going into Saturday. Are you guys keeping half an eye on Michigan, TCU, in case you end up having to play them in the national championship?
No, it's all about this game right now. Yeah.
Right, with that game, yesterday Jim had mentioned how anxious you guys are to get to I guess for you, how anxious are you with this last month as well, and then to finally get out there and be able to kind of prove something?
I'm excited to see us play. I'm excited to play in this game. I'm excited for our team to go play. Going to play fast, going to play loose, going to go and have a bunch of fun playing on the field. But we can't play the game right now. And when you get into games like this, you just want to get to the game, but there's still a lot of preparation to be done.
And in terms of the games you've been in, coached, NFL, college, maybe, where does this rank in terms of kind of magnitude and stakes?
Every game you play in at Ohio State has got huge magnitude, and if you don't think so, try losing the game. So that's kind of the world we live in at Ohio State.
Ryan, what's the situation when you guys are going back with Williams and his availability this week?
Yeah, so we're expecting him to practice today and have everybody available.
You guys know, but it seems like you guys have had so many different guys step up week to week, depending on whatever situation. I mean, is that a feel from just a week of practice usually?
The one thing is we've kind of been, working through that all season. And the good news is, our guys have responded well to it, and some guys have stepped up. So This is not something new, and certainly when Trey wasn't available, and that just, we had to go down the road of a surgery for him, even though he was working real hard to try to get out back on the field, and I give him a lot of credit for that. But in the end, he just had to have the surgery, and that was the right thing for Trey. And then from there, okay, so now where do we go? And all these guys have been preparing hard, and we have some good options going into this game.
Ryan, how challenging will just has been the last week and a half, getting down here and trying to have half an eye on Christmas, 30 kids in the family.
Yeah, there's a lot going on a week like this for sure. But that's what this is all about this time of year is, managing it all, but the focus on our players and the focus on practice and the focus on making sure that our guys are prepared to play in this game. That's the number one thing. But there are a lot of things going on. Like you said, there's the holidays, there's the bowl, and there's events, there's all these types of things. But I think we've done a really good job of keeping the main thing, and that's about playing here on 8 o'clock on Saturday night. So we allowed them to go home for a couple days to be with their families during the holidays, and then everybody met here Christmas night, and then we got back to work. So, we also did our senior tackle the Saturday before we left, and had the senior banquet there on campus, which was a nice event. And then obviously we're able to help out with the families getting down here to the bowl game as well. So that's great, and most of the families will be here over the next couple days.
Specifically Georgia, when you think about all the different things they present, is there something that stands out as like, hey, that part of their team is most impressive?
I think it's just the complete package of three levels or three phases. You have the offense, defense, and special teams. I think they do a good job in all three phases. I've gone through it all. What they do in all those areas, but they have obviously very, very good players and a lot of talented players, recruited very well, and then they're well coached and execute well.
Hey, Ryan. Barrett Lee with CBS. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I got another few questions. These are pretty generic, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you can answer.
Yep.
Pretty good? All right. From the last loss to being named into the playoff, what was that week like for you, and how did you manage that?
Well, what we did is it took a couple of days there, and then quickly just got together with the team and said, listen, if a couple things go our way, we're probably going to be playing Georgia here in this game. And so that started the Wednesday before we even knew what was going to happen. And we got out there and had a couple practices, which was good because the best thing to do is get back to work, and that's what we did. And then when it did kind of fall that way over the weekend, our guys just had so much energy because we already talked about this, and then it just kind of translated into some really good practices and some physical practices, and we've had an edge about us. And then we got down here, had 3 really good days of work, and about to have another day, and we'll just keep working towards 8 o'clock on Saturday night.
You're obviously an offensive guy. When you look at Georgia, the last 2 years, one of the best defenses of all time, maybe. What do you see when you look at that defense on film?
Well, like you said, one of the best defenses of all time. They're a great defense, and it's a huge challenge for us.
From the front seven standpoint, a lot of guys that are new, they don't play like they're new. What do you see from those guys, specifically Jalen Carter, a guy who didn't really get a lot of reps last year?
Yep, strong and talented, physical, and so we've done a really good job of preparing for that over the last month, and the game's going to be one up front. It always is. The line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, whether it's offense or defense.
CJ, obviously a 2-time Heisman Trophy finalist. Kind of explain his development from a guy starting last year for the first time to a guy who has so many accolades.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been very impressed with how he's handled himself over the last few weeks. He's a special young man who this team loves, I love, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play on Saturday night.
Jim talked a little bit about Stetson Bennett and how he is dangerous as a passer deep, maybe doesn't get the credit that he should, but also as an athlete in general. What do you see from Stetson?
Yeah, a great player. Somebody who's already won a national championship. He can do a lot of things. He can, like you said, he's got a quick release. He's accurate downfield. Can run. He kind of operates everything, gets him in the right play, and he's got some real good weapons around him.
Great. Thanks, Ryan.
All right, you got
Appreciate it. Good luck.
You got it.
Right.
Yep.
What do you think DJ in the days and weeks post-Michigan loss leading up to preparation to this game?
Really what I saw everybody do, and that's get back to work and focus on preparing for Georgia. But he's grown a lot in a short period of time, and he knows that his best football is ahead of him, and he's using every opportunity to grow as a football player, as a person. And like I said, this team loves him, and I love him, and looking forward to seeing him play at 8 o'clock on Saturday night.
Once you guys found out that you were going to be in this game, after the Michigan game, first you got up in this game, you got figures to beat them in his career at Ohio State. Did he say anything kind of like, okay, we've got like this second chance at life almost? Or how did he address the team after finding out you guys were going to be?
I don't think he addressed the team, but his work every day and his practice preparation has been excellent, and he's he knows how important this game is. We all do. So I don't think he's doing anything different than anybody else. But we got an opportunity to play in the semifinals and compete for a national championship here. There's only 4 teams left, and we're one of them. So what matters is how we prepare and how we play in this game, and that's it. So what we can't do is let a game beat us twice, and so continue to have to field questions about that, that he's had to do, and certainly we've had to do, but that has not affected our preparation. Hi there. Hi, guys. Sure.
By the way,
All right.
the Omni.
Okay.
And he's our junior sideline correspondent.
Okay.
Okay. What are your expectations going in?
Well, we expect an unbelievable crowd, unbelievable atmosphere, and a great opponent, and a great challenge. But I think you're going to see some really physical play. You're going to see some high-end execution, and you're going to see a heck of a game.
If you could go anywhere before the game, wherever you go, to get mentally
I like being with the players. I like being with the team. With the locker room, on the field, whatever it is. We every once in a while you got to have a little time for yourself, but I like being with the players.
And then what music would you play?
Well, me,
Yeah.
I let those guys choose the music. Not that I always know what they're playing, but I let them choose the music.
What would you eat? What would you eat before? If you could eat anything.
Anything? But we keep it pretty bland before a game. Grilled chicken and spaghetti and things like that. Yeah.
If you had to rename a drink, like your name, what would you change?
Ooh.
Any drink.
Rename a drink? Jeez, I don't know.
Be the Ryan Day.
I have to think about that. I don't know.
Okay. What's your favorite place in Atlanta?
Take it out in Atlanta.
In recruiting, I've stayed, up in Buckhead before, and been over to Lenox Mall and in those areas. I know my family really enjoyed the aquarium. I've not been over there, but they said it's a great aquarium. And usually when we're recruiting, we're staying a little bit some of the suburbs and some of the other areas up in the Gwinnett County and some of those towns. And there's great football here. So usually when we're here, we're not here sightseeing. We're usually here recruiting. So, but it's certainly a great city with great players, great coaches, great programs, and everybody here has been great to us. We've had a great week.
Do you have anything if you had to tell players in high school looking to be recruited, what would you tell them ahead of time who are looking for?
I think the first thing is when you recruit that you have to keep the focus on what really matters, and that's their development on and off the field for the rest of their life. Everyone's chasing the dream of going to the NFL and having a 15-year career in the NFL or whatever it is, but guys in college are still in the most formidable years of their life, and there's going to be life after football. So, choosing the right school for the right reasons, I think, is the most important thing. That once you choose a school, you have to go live it.
Yeah.
After you put out the tweet and after you go through signing day, now you got to go live there and you got to go embrace the culture of the program that's there. So and I just think for every recruit and their families, the number one thing has to be their development as a person, as a student and getting a great degree, and then obviously as a player.
Hey, Ryan, we have a guest correspondent.
Yeah.
Following last year's Rose Bowl ping pong match versus Jesse Mirko, have you looked forward to any rematches this year?
Well, there was a little trash talking the other day that we'd be going against each other, and certainly Jesse did get me last year, and I can't tell you that I've had a lot of time to work on my game, but there will be a rematch before we play in this game on Saturday night, and I will win. Okay.
WJCL ABC Savannah. This will be our third trip going to Mercedes-Benz Stadium this season for the Georgia Bulldogs. Obviously, you're first. How do you assess the opportunity of playing inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium when it kind of seems like a home field for Georgia and
Yeah, we figure that certainly it's going to be, the majority will be the Georgia fans, and so we'll have to handle it as such, which we've done. We knew that coming down here, so almost treating it like a road game, but like you said, this is their third time playing here, so it is kind of familiar for them. But we've had an opportunity to practice in Mercedes-Benz Stadium all week, and we've known what we're up against here, and it's a great challenge, and I know our guys are excited about it.
You just had one of your players come up and interview you. I'm curious of how you assess media day and how your players have been handling it. I know they're no strangers to media, but obviously the semifinal is different.
Yeah, and this is probably one of the few times that we're all out here together as a team for an event like this, and it's good. It's good for our team, but there'll be a lot of questions and things and distractions on a week like this. This is not something that typically we go through like if it was a normal game week, but when you're dealing with a bowl game like this, what you have to do is you have to focus on the game. There's a lot of things along the way that can be distracting, and we can't let that happen. But our guys are pros. We have a great group, and I think they'll do a great job today.
Speaking of today, practice is just right around the corner for you guys as you're leading and getting closer and closer to kickoff. What's the mindset and focus at today's practice?
Well, we've had really good practices these 3 days. Last 2 days have been physical. They've been edgy. You can just see it in our guys' eyes the way that we're practicing. They're looking forward to playing in this game, and today will be no different. Get out there today and have a great practice. We got meetings here in a few minutes, and keep grinding and keep working towards playing because the most prepared team will win.
My last question, I'm curious, as a head coach, you come across so many different players in your career. When you're going up against a player like Stetson Bennett and you learn about his story, his journey, I'm curious your thoughts on how unique his path has been for his college football career.
Yeah, I think everybody has their own journey, and whether it starts when they go into college or in the high school, and everybody kind of has it, and it comes usually with adversity along the way. And I think that's what, when you think about even for us this season, life is about overcoming adversity, and I think Stetson has done an unbelievable job of that. Just not exactly the way you draw it up. He's came in as a walk-on and left Georgia, came back to Georgia, and was in a room with some really talented, highly recruited guys, but just kept grinding, and that's got a lot of respect for him and the way that he's handled himself, because that's what life's all about, is overcoming adversity, and he's done that, and he's turned into a great player.
All right. You guys dealt with so many injuries this year. I know it's part of the this many injuries. How much did this get into that a little bit if you would, and then how much did this month plus off?
Yeah. It has. I was looking at the injury report. I mean, we're clean going into this game and expecting to have everybody that you know of that'll be available. But I just think this year it's been, a couple key spots that's hurt us. I think overall we've done pretty good. When you look at the overall, games and, who guys or, who missed games, I think we did pretty good. It's just certainly not having Jackson available. It just felt like it was like, is he going to be ready next week? Is he going to be? And it never quite got better. And so that was frustrating, and the same thing with Trey. And I give those guys credit. I mean, they were trying to get back in, but when you have injuries that don't allow you to do that, it's frustrating. And when you have such high-end athletes, those things come into play. But when you look at all the different areas. I guess the corners early on, we had some struggles there, but some guys stepped up, but then we got them healthy. And so I would think overall across the board we've done pretty good, but they've been in key spots, which is, it's been frustrating, but that's part of the game, and everybody deals with it. I think about some of the great teams who have had to overcome injuries along the way, and it'd be one heck of a story if we can go out there and win this game and go on and win a national championship, overcoming some of these things. And that's what life's all about, and that's what we're going to look forward to do here Saturday night.
The story of Ohio State as an underdog doesn't happen very often. When it does, Ohio State has been dangerous. Do you put much stock in that? Let's get into that.
I mean, our focus has been on this game, and certainly I would assume one of the reasons we're an underdog is we lost the last game, and that plays into it. But what matters is how hard we play and how well we execute. That's it. Nothing else matters, and our preparation. So, I don't know what to think of it all, but I know, it doesn't really matter about point spreads or anything. What matters is if you win the game or not, and sometimes, during the season, that becomes a topic of conversation. As after every game during the season, how many did you win by, style points, did this guy look good, did you get the running game going? In this game, it's all about winning. It doesn't matter how you win. You can win pretty, clean, ugly, nasty. It doesn't matter how you win. You just got to win. And, we've been in that press room before. We're like, that was an ugly win. We'll take any win. That's when you're in the CFP. So, yeah, you got it.
Coach, whenever y'all are sitting there and y'all find out you're going to go play, what was that emotion like?
Well, I think there was a point there where we were expecting to be in that 4th spot after everything that shook out, but there was just something we had talked about the week before, was that if things played out the way I thought they could, that we'd have a chance to be in this situation. So we got to work the week before. We practiced 2 days and had really good practices. So when it did happen, it was like, all right, we already talked about this. We planned for this, and now here we go. It's happening. And there was excitement there, especially after, the week before it wasn't good there for a few days. But new life, great month of preparation, and now, again, it's just all about this game.
What's the toughest thing about preparing for it?
Oh, there's not just one thing. It's everything. It's again, the talent, the scheme, the all the above.
Ryan talked this year about not wanting to give away tendencies in whether it's pistol or not, spread soccer. You have a guy like Mecca who can play slot, play outside, physically handle on the center stuff too. How much is that helping your team?
Yeah, having guys who can do multiple things like Mecca is great. The more you can do, the more versatile you can be, then the more value you bring. And we have a few guys like that. You look at Mitch and Mecca and Xavier and those guys, and that helps us.
When you were game planning, Jackson went down, trying to change things around. How big was not only Mecca's versatility, but his intellect, knowing that he can handle it?
Yeah, and his toughness. I just think he's been a warrior all year. You look at what he's done, and whether it's special teams, whether it's playing the slot, whether it's playing outside, like you said, running the ball, he's been a warrior, and he can handle high levels of information, but he's also physically tough and turned into one heck of a football player this year.
Coach, you mentioned, a couple tough days, after that loss in November. I know we've heard from JT about his speech, but can we hear from your perspective a little bit what you heard and how that kind of has helped the team kind of get back on the right track?
There was a lot of things that were said, and I'll kind of leave some of that stuff to the team, but no, some guys have stepped up and shown really good leadership over the last month, and and that's what you got to do. You got to be resilient. You got to have perseverance. You got to work through tough times. And that's what life's about. Life isn't always going to be easy. Certainly, we're not proud of what happened. It was a bad loss, but we got to rebound. No one's going to feel sorry for ourselves, and we didn't do that. We got back to work, and now all the focus is on this game.
The team seems to be, embracing the underdog mentality, excited to be quote unquote the enemy. Are you happy with how these players have turned the corner like that and embracing that mentality?
Well, I think we have an opportunity to do something real special here, and more than anything, I just want them to go out there and play as hard and as fast as they can with not pressing at all, because again, this is what life is. Life is about going through obstacles and being strong, and not veering away from hitting the issues head on, dealing with conflict, and then improving from it. And we got an unbelievable opportunity on Saturday night.
There's been no shortage of talent for these Ohio State teams that you've coached, but have you noticed the talent, where it concentrates on the team, maybe shifting from position to position? Because obviously this year it seems like wide receiver, and last year too is just embarrassment of riches there. But, is that something you've noticed, and is there areas of the team that you feel you need to shore up through recruiting or through training portal at all?
No, I think we've done an unbelievable job of recruiting, and I think that we've done a great job of developing. You can see that with really all positions over the years, and I think each year is different because you have some young guys, you have some older guys, you have some experience, you have different mixture of players, and this year we went to a different defensive scheme, and went to a 3 safety system, and so that's a little bit different, and we've had to adjust our recruiting there. But I think you're seeing really good play at all positions, but every year is a little bit different, like you said. You have young guys who have to step up. You have some older guys who now have experience, and then once we get done with the season, it'll all kind of change again, and we'll have to regroup year in and year out. But there's a certain level amount of talent in each room. But to me, it's all about the skill and discipline that you build over your time, and talent is God-given, but you have to earn discipline and skill, and that's what we focus on.
CJ is really good at a thing that nobody really sees, processing information.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you've said that maybe he's one of the best we've seen. Just talk a little bit about how hard that is, especially up in the box.
Yeah.
One thing. Just getting everybody involved, seeing, feeling the game.
It's a big part of playing quarterback, is being able to do that, and the more you can do, the better. But then you also don't want to give it, just because he can handle it, do too much, where it puts too much on his plate either. And that's the balance you have to find. And I think the thing for CJ is he's really given great feedback to me. He's given great feedback to the coaching staff on what he's seeing, what he's feeling. When you're young, you don't really know, but he's got now a bunch of games under his belt, so he knows what he likes, he knows what he doesn't like. And he's had a really good month of preparation here, and I know he's really excited about playing in this one.
How much freedom does he have now compared to early last year, mid last year, whatever, in terms of seeing something and change? He said he wouldn't just change something
Right.
on his own. That would not be smart.
No, but the feedback that he's giving, and like, listen, what do you think about this? Or I'm seeing this thing a different way, and so we adjust them in practice, and then certainly he has some plays that he can change, but no, that's not how the offense is run. You don't just all of a sudden start changing plays in the line of scrimmage.
Coach, what is your relationship with Coach?
Professional. A lot of respect for him, and seen him at a couple different events, and he's always been a gentleman.
So your roster, you look up and down, it's tons of guys from Ohio to Georgia. It's Georgia all across the board. I mean, how important, at least speaking for yourself, how important is that state representation also to supplementing from the outside state?
I mean, for us, our number one goal in recruiting is to recruit the best players from the state of Ohio. But then from there, going to identify the areas that we think can help us. And Georgia's been, just had an unbelievable amount of talent come out of this area now for a long time, and certainly strong now than has ever been. And great high school coaches, great talent, but it's heavily recruited as well. It's competitive.
The way that college football is, it's 4 and 5 stars. A guy like Stetson Bennett, how much admiration do you have for a guy like that?
A ton. Kind of similar to the way that I kind of came up, a smaller school and just kind of overachieving in different areas. But, he's really turned into a great player. He can beat you with his feet. He's accurate downfield. The position of quarterback is one that you have to just continually overcome adversity. And that's what he's done. And you can just see that. And I think that's a trait of a really good quarterback. And, he's already won a national championship and gone undefeated. So, again, a lot of respect for him.
With Marvin Harrison, there's there's always a nature versus nurture, right? You get guys, you develop them. How much of him was nature and how much do you think's been?
Yeah, I think that's when you find special players, you have talent that, like you said, it was God-given, and Marvin did not earn that talent. Like RJ Day's not going to have that talent, but Marvin does. But I think what makes Marvin special is his discipline and his skill. He's built a tremendous amount of discipline in his life. Takes care of his body, prepares at a high level. Just unbelievable amount of discipline. The way that he runs his routes, his work ethic is unbelievable. Then the skill. I mean, the amount of work that he puts in, I think you could say that he's one of the hardest workers on the entire team. The jugs work he puts in, you could ask anybody on our team, they would say him right at the number 1 or 2 top hardest working guys on the team. So when you combine all that together, you get a special player.
Your office is right by the indoor there. Do you just constantly hear the fitch of the jugs?
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I think he had it going in the hotel somewhere this week. It's just the way he is. Yeah, there was a point during the season where there was only a few of us, and I think it was around midnight, and someone said to me, "There's only a few people in the building, Coach. You said a couple of the assistants, and Marvin's in there." And I said, well, "Get Marvin home. He needs to get some rest." But that's just the way he is, and again, I think that's what makes him special. Yeah.
Last question. Yeah. This one's a little bit off the wall, but one of your players who's 21 said that he has an NIL deal with a beer called Kentucky Cold Snap. Wondering if you'd ever heard of that, and if he ever offered to share that with you?
No, but if we win this game, I'll take one.
All right, time's up. All right, Coach, if you can